Now we are that far that we are getting the coordinates from the MQTT broker to the NodeRED flow that we tested with adding there the MQTT client, defining the client, and then creating there also in our flow and function, which is like opening the payload we get from the MQTT subscription. So we open it and open from the payload the JSON object, and from the object we take the different properties and set the property values to the variables in our JavaScript. And in the JavaScript we then change those variable values to the string, and then we output those out here as a message payload to the debug window in here. And so now we know that, okay, we have the device out there. In this case, it is a simulated device. And then we are able to open the message from there by subscribing to the same topic that the device is sending as a topic to the MQTT broker. And then we open the message, and then we get the content printed in here, and clearly we get the latitudes and longitudes. Then the next step is to get a map view of those coordinates. And for that one, we go there and go to the palette and try to find something about the map. So we get into the palette, manage palette, and go to the install and search for a map. And you get really a number of hits in here. So you can have a look on different ones. Again, I mean, the up arrow gets you into the documentation page. And we select one of these. And we take the NodeRED14 web world map from here. Just a moment, it's not in that list, so we go back to my instructions, just a second, and then I'll search with the web world map. So in the search for the web world map. And then we get into the NodeRED14 web world map. And it's better to look at the documentation. And clicking there, you get to the documentation page. And then it's really better to study the documentation page before we go further. So it's installing there a few nodes. So there is a world map, user interface world map, and we get some data out from the world map into our flow. So this is an input, these are outputs, and then there are world map tracks. So it's got an input and output, and world map hull, I don't know what's that, got an input and output. Anyway, then it looks like that it is capable of printing objects on the world map. And then the map can be scaled by clicking the plus minus sign in here, and so on. It's using the OpenStreetMap in that view as a base map. So it's got a few updates, yes, but then installing, okay, we install it in the NodeRED, so never mind about these. Then to use it, so it is plotting things on the map. By default, the map will be served from the world map. It means that you actually go into your NodeRED root address and then the world map. I'm just a moment, I'm in here. No, not in here. I'm in here. So that's the same thing. Yeah, I'm in here. So that's my root address for the NodeRED server, and then the world map. And that's the map at the moment. So, and then the minimum for the payload is that it should have the name, latitude, longitude properties in there. We have the latitude property in our payload, and we have the longitude property in our payload. But we haven't got the name property in our payload. So actually we need to go and change something on our simulation before we continue with that one, because there in the payload there should be also the property name and the value for that one. So we go inside our Python code. So actually I will save that one with a different name that I have also the original one still. And then I'll just change the name that this is with the 0. So 01. And I'm going to edit this one and leave the original like it is. So in here, I'll just zoom in. Yeah. So we are in here. This is our client to publish. So walking status location. And then this is our payload. It's a long payload, a really long one, built out of those calculated values and then the time objects. So I need to add here still one more. So I'll add here some space, and the comma is marking that I have another like object on the payload on the JSON. So then this is inside the string, so I need to mark it like this, and I give it a name. I mean that it needs to be the name, and the name will get a value, and it's still inside the string. And I'll name it the Walker 01. And that's still inside the string. I think it works like this. So saving that one. We might also change in what topic we publish that maybe later. We will try just this simple modification. So adding these onto the JavaScript, on the Python code. And then publishing. And you see it's not here on the text that what is published, because I didn't change it on the published text in here. So there goes the name as well, but it's not printed in here. So if you would like to have a look at more, it's coming in properly, I still go to the MQTT box and subscribe to that topic. So that was the that one I subscribe to, I need to connect. Subscribe to that one. And I need to start this again. And I get the name Walker01 inside the JSON. Good. Then what next? So we were studying the documentation and then got the information that there needs to be the name, and we added the name in there. So you might study the document further, or we need to study the document a little bit further. But we can install it, the node, in our flow. So let's continue with that one. Back to our NodeRED editor, and in that NodeRED editor, you select this install and this NodeRED contrib web world map, and you install it. I have it installed already, so I can't install it again. So just click the install here. And when you have clicked the install in there, you get it at the end of your palette. So somewhere down here, you get the world map in tracks convex hull. And then let's have a look on the world map fast. So you can drag and drop it in here in your flow and then open it. And then in here is the documentation open that way. Yeah, the documentation is in here. So the NodeRED is rather handy because you get the documentation as well. I didn't need to. So you get the documentation in here as well. So we continue with these instructions on the documentation in here and try to get the coordinates displayed on the world map.